Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to UMBC's 2022 Convocation. We will begin in a few moments, and we ask that you please take your seats. In the event of an emergency, please note the emergency exits throughout the building. Out of courtesy to our speakers and our colleagues, we ask that you silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Thank you. The faculty and staff procession is led by the faculty marshal, Dr. Jonathan Zohar, the 2022 Presidential Research Professor and Professor and Chair of Marine Biotechnology. He is joined by Ms. Helena Dahlin, Staff Marshal, the 2022 Presidential Distinguished Staff Award recipient for non-exempt staff, and Executive Administrative Assistant for the Division of Information Technology. The faculty and staff marshals are carrying batons that the UMBC Alumni Association gave to the university in honor of our 40th anniversary in 2006. The platform party is led by the Grand Marshal, Dr. Susan McDonough, President of the Faculty Senate and Associate Professor of History. The Grand Marshal carries the University Mace, a symbol of presidential authority. Used only on formal academic occasions, UMBC's Mace was commissioned by the Alumni Association for UMBC's 20th anniversary in 1986.
Good afternoon. I am Susan McDonough, and I use she, her pronouns. On behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the administration of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, welcome to UMBC's 2022 Convocation. If you could please rise and remove your caps or hats for the national anthem. Everyone, please be seated. At UMBC, we begin our events with a land acknowledgement. UMBC was established on the land of the Piscataway and Susquehannock peoples. Over time, citizens of many more indigenous nations have come to reside in this region. We humbly offer our respects to all past, present, and future indigenous people connected to this place. Welcome, Retrievers. Convocation is the traditional kickoff to the academic year. It's a way to bring the UMBC community together before classes start and to mark the beginning of your academic career. We want you to know that the entire UMBC community is behind you as you embark on this exciting journey. You may wonder why I and other members of our community are wearing this today. Regalia represents the personal academic achievements of the wearer and embodies the academic mission of the university. The style, the color, the length of the robe and hood serve to distinguish the academic degree that the wearer has earned and the institution that rewarded it. For example, my elegant blue regalia represents a PhD, the 3 stripes, in history from Yale University. You will see regalia again at your commencement. Next, it is with great pleasure that I introduce Dr. Catherine Cole, the Vice Provost and Dean of Undergraduate Academic Affairs. The Division of Undergraduate Academic Affairs oversees the components of a collegiate education that are shared by all undergraduates at the university. UAA coordinates initiatives designed to support you, our undergraduate students, during your time at UMBC. The division collaborates with the academic departments on programs and policies that inspire our students and deliver a distinctive experience for all. Some of the programs reporting to Dr. Cole's division include the Honors College, our Individualized Degree Program, the Academic Success Center, and Academic and Engagement and Transition programs, including our first-year experience in Meyerhoff, McNair, and Sherman Scholars programs. Together, these programs help our undergraduate students reach their academic, professional, and personal goals. Please welcome Dr. Cole.
Thank you. It is truly an honor to be asked to welcome you today. We are all so excited to be here with you on campus, and I am delighted to welcome you to UMBC this afternoon. The past 2.5 years have been unprecedented in the world and a challenge for us all. You, our new UMBC students, have demonstrated such resilience and dedication of purpose during this time to be able to complete your academics so strong and to be ready to embark on the next chapter of your education. We are so proud of each and every one of you, and we are truly honored that you have chosen UMBC to take the next step in your educational journey. Excellent choice. Yeah. UMBC is truly a remarkable place. We use the term UMBC family because that is truly what this community is. One thing we've learned in these challenging times is that we are better together than we are by ourselves. And this is one of the basic tenets at UMBC. Our faculty, staff, and administration are absolutely committed to each other and committed to making our students' educational experience the best that it can possibly be. Our faculty of scholars are absolutely extraordinary, and they are incredibly dynamic teachers and exceptional mentors. You will learn so much from them in the coming years. I'm sure you've heard advice about find your passion and follow your passion, which is good advice. I actually gave it to my 2 sons when they went to college, and they looked at me and said, I have no idea what my passion is and certainly don't know how to follow it, which was an insightful time for me. But did you know that 80% of college students change their major at least once? And I'm here to tell you that that is perfectly normal and to be expected. My 2 were in that 80%. One started in engineering and ended up in criminology, and the other started in psychology and ended up in molecular biology. And yes, they did find their passion and they did follow it. Finding your passion is really about trying new things, and sometimes things outside of your comfort zone, both inside and outside of the classroom. You will often find that the things that you expected to have the least amount of impact will have the greatest influence on your life. Here at UMBC, we have over 100 majors and programs that span the arts and humanities, engineering and computer science, natural science, and social sciences. And if none of the 100 majors exactly fits your passion and vision, and you want to develop your own major guided by our remarkable faculty, we have that option as well. The important thing to remember is that we are here to help you and guide you claim your education, and that every single student at UMBC is important to us. I will end this welcome with a wonderful quote from Martin Luther King. And he said, "We must remember that intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of a true education." And that is what UMBC will provide for you, a true education with all of the things that encompasses. So, new retrievers, continue to be the resilient, brilliant, and competent people you are. Find the path and follow it wherever it leads you. Dream big, and welcome to this amazing community that we call UMBC. Thank you. Thank you. One of our traditions at UMBC is to invite the current presidential teaching professor to address new students at Convocation. The Presidential Teaching Award, honoring exemplary dedication and achievements, is given to just one faculty member each year. Today, it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Tamara Mendelson, Professor of Biological Sciences and the recipient of the 2022 Presidential Teaching Award. Dr. Mendelson joined our UMBC community in 2006 as an assistant professor in biological sciences. She was promoted to full professor in 2017. Her colleagues and students describe her as an enthusiastic, patient, and creative teacher who infuses her courses with humor, active learning, and ample opportunities for participation. Dr. Mendelson is known for her rigorous approach to academics, but also for her open-door policy. She is a respected scholar in evolutionary biology and animal behavior. She believes passionately in UMBC's vision of inclusive excellence and is the lead on the iCare project, which focuses on preparing a diverse environmental science workforce. Please join me in welcoming my wonderful colleague, Dr. Tamara Mendelson.
Thank you, Dr. Cole. Welcome, Retrievers, to the beginning of an amazing journey. Can I get a hello, please? Just a little bit louder. Can I get a little? Yes, thank you. And I am thrilled to be standing here with our new university president, Dr. Valerie Shears-Ashby. Can we get a hello? Awesome. Hey, anyone enrolled in Biology 142 out there? Yes, all right, I'll see you Thursday. Awesome, good, excellent, good. I am so grateful for this special opportunity to say hello to you and to be here with you at the beginning of your journey. I'm gonna take this moment to talk about our motto of inclusive excellence, because as a professor, I take it very seriously. Honestly, it's what makes me want to come to UMBC every day. Inclusive, to me, means that we not only value, we require a diversity of backgrounds to make the world a better place. It's the only way that we will achieve a more accurately educated, environmentally conscious civil society, period. Thank you. Excellence to me means a couple of things. It means finding an academic niche for yourself where you can excel, where your passion, your curiosity, your goals, and your hard work align, so you can walk out of here with a cap on your head, full of knowledge and bursting with new ideas. Excellence to me also means engaging with our communities. I currently direct the iCare graduate training program here at UMBC, where we actively engage with community advocates to solve environmental problems and work towards environmental justice. So as you pursue your own academic passions, I encourage you to think about how your studies could connect you with our communities here in Baltimore, or with any community that could benefit from your work. So I've said work a couple times now, hard work even. We don't achieve excellence without hard work, we just don't. So there are gonna be times this year, at least I hope there will be, and times throughout your whole academic career really, where you are gonna drag yourself out of bed to go to class that frankly you don't really understand. And you are gonna stay up too late to finish an assignment, and you are gonna skip a party because you really need to understand how the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium works. Biology 142, looking at you. And in those moments, I hope you stop, I hope you take a breath and say to yourself, this is the work. This is the work of excellence that she was talking about. This is how work feels, and I'm doing it. And I promise you, you are not gonna do it alone. You can get support at UMBC in many, many ways. So for academic support, for example, for starters, find people in your classes to start a study group. You can hold each other accountable. You can teach each other the material. I firmly believe that you do not understand something until you try and teach it to somebody else. And maybe you can have a little fun. Reach out to your professors. We're here because we love what we study and we want to share it with you. Don't ever be shy of office hours. Use them liberally. We also have a robust academic success center with academic advocates who can help you plan, can help you manage your time. You can get one-on-one tutoring, you can get supplemental instruction. Your success is our success, so please let us help. I've been at UMBC since 2006, and I consider myself truly fortunate to be an academic. Teaching and research make me want to come to work every day, but it's our mission of inclusive excellence and the community here who lives it that makes me want to come to UMBC every day. So I am very excited to start this year with you. And now, I am pleased to introduce Ms. Ira Hussein, President of the Student Government Association. I got something to say. Okay. Ira is a senior majoring in biological sciences and Arabic. She's serving her first term as president of the Student Government Association, the SGA, after serving as assistant speaker, a senator, and a member of the Honors College. She works in Dr. Hahn's Geography and Environmental Systems Lab and is an Amgen Scholar. This semester, she'll continue her work at the Kennedy Krieger Institute at a clinical research lab that studies chronic pain associated with cerebral palsy. Ira also happens to be my own advisee. So I'm especially proud to be introducing her, and I can speak personally to her outstandingness. So please, help me welcome Ira Hussein.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Dr. Mendelson. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ira Hussein, and I'm the current SGA president and a biology and Arabic double major. 3 years ago, I would like to think, less wise than I am now, a lot more eager about starting university, but definitely the same height. At UMBC, it was easy to feel welcomed. Look around you. How beautiful is it to see such a diversity of people all coming together? Waking up every morning was exciting because of the feeling of being grown and independent. I mean, I was a college student now, right? What I was yet to learn was that being grown, independent, or even just a college student did not come with the good decision-making. With great power comes great responsibility, as my dad likes to say. But I was rather easily influenced by others and was still trying to figure out who I was. I had yet to find myself. I started meeting people the week of move-in and once my classes started. In fact, I met my boyfriend through Chemistry 101. Maybe a lesson not to skip class, people. The love of your life might just be sitting in Meyerhoff 30 at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Take this off. Despite making friends, I still tried hard to fit in, whatever that meant. I remember one morning during the winter when I was living on campus because I spontaneously decided to take an Arabic class. Remember that, I'll get back to it later. I was coming back with my friend to her dorm room and her roommate was bleaching her hair. That looks cool, I thought. It most definitely did not look cool. And I don't know what was worse, the fact that I bleached my hair or the fact that I walked around actually thinking it looked good for a while. I became a little ashamed when my parents found out. Never did they really get angry at me, but perhaps just disappointed because I went behind their back. This wasn't an isolated incident, as not only did I experiment with my hair, but the people I hung out with, the places I went, and the things I did. Ironically, through all this trying to find myself, I started to feel like I was losing myself. I felt my parents were disappointed in my choices, which in turn led me to feel disappointed in myself. Then, a few months later, COVID happened. Suddenly, I became afraid that I would become distant from the people I was forming friendships with, worried about growing apart from my boyfriend, and saddened about being away from UMBC, a place I was starting to feel connected to. Now, picture me, hair dyed, hidden boyfriend, a changed person, getting the email saying it was time to go home. Having felt my independence, I wasn't ready to go home, but I wasn't ready to open up to my family either. And whether you're working away from home, in high school or community college, or even at another college, like me, you may have found yourself struggling to go home. And perhaps, like me too, you might have experienced a lot of new and unexpected sources of anxiety that arose from the pandemic. However, I didn't know how to deal with any of it, who to confide in, and evidently, I was left feeling like a different person in my heart than what my family saw me as. Eventually, something had to give. Unexpectedly, being home gave me some reassurance in the form of peace with and confidence in my choices. One step at a time, I opened up to my mom about the boy I liked, felt comfortable enough to joke about how terrible my hair had looked, and, once again, found a best friend in my sister. To close, I want to leave you with a few lessons learned. So remember how I spontaneously decided to take that Arabic class over winter? Now, I'm an Arabic major too. And in his speech in a few moments, Ryan will talk about the value in forming connections with your professors, which can lead to unexpected outcomes. The lesson learned here is that some of the new experiences and self-exploration worked. Some of it brought me closer to my family values, and some of it didn't. But the freedom of allowing myself to explore led me to finding things I liked, and if not, then at least I found what I didn't like. Second, find your people and confide in them. For me, that meant confiding in my family, whom I pushed away when I feared they wouldn't accept the person I was growing into. However, I can say with confidence now that their love, faith, and support in me throughout my growth never would have wavered despite the not-so-smart and thoughtful decisions, as well as the more spontaneous and explorative choices. So whilst I returned to some of my family values, my heart was also warmed to see how they accepted parts of me that I never thought they would. This was the best decision I made, as they not only freed me from my pandemic blues, but helped me deal with overbearing anxiety, stress, and everything else that comes with being a learning, growing, and changing person. In fact, my parents and my little brother Ehan are here today to support me. Oh, sorry. Finally, trust yourself. You are smart, you are worthy, you belong here. You will do amazing things, whether you believe me now or not. Think about each of the decisions that you make because your decisions make you. Whilst it may not have been as apparent in my stories, much of your success at UMBC comes from being present. So take advantage of this time. Explore, get involved. For instance, start by going to Involvement Fest on September 7th from noon to 2 p.m. on Erickson Field. And be open to trying new things. You are your life's greatest puzzle. Thank you. Now, I am pleased to introduce Ryan Betcher. Ryan is a senior majoring in Media and Communication Studies and a member of UMBC's soccer team. In 2021, Ryan was named to the America East Fall Honor Roll and selected to the America East second team. His outstanding GPA has earned him a spot in the Chi Alpha Sigma, the National College Athlete Honor Society. As an attacking midfielder, Ryan has played in 45 career games. Ryan is also the brother of UMBC 2022 alumnus Jackson Betcher, who spoke at the 2019 Convocation ceremony. So please join me in welcoming Ryan.
Thank you, Ira. Get this a little higher. Hello all, my name is Ryan, and I'm going into my senior year here at UMBC. Honestly, I can't believe I just said that. I remember being a first-year student, sitting in here, like many of you, listening to none other than my brother, giving his story as I'm speaking mine. I come from a small town in Pennsylvania, where there's not much diversity, and it seems as almost everyone knows everyone. So you can imagine how I felt when I was meeting 3 of my fellow freshman teammates, all from another country. Not only were they from another country, but they were all also older than me. Suddenly, I had remembered that I'd been to Germany once before, so I was able to make an instant connection with one of my German teammates. But I was still not the person I knew I truly was. I was putting on an act to try to fit in. I remember sitting in my dorm on the bottom of our bunk beds, watching TV, when I decided I was not happy with the person I was portraying myself to be. That day, I called my brother, and I told him how I was feeling, and he told me there's no reason to shy away from who I am. He reminded me that people back home loved me for who I was. With that reassurance, I began to grow into myself and found that same kid I was before. I began to create friendships that I continue to grow to this day, learning that we have much more in common with one another than we tend to believe. This realization led me to create a better connection with my teammates that even led onto the field. And as you can imagine, that can create some very dirty laundry. I mention laundry because there's a stereotype that college guys do not do their laundry enough. One of those guys being my brother, and I was determined to not be that guy. He would wait until we could make a trip home in order to get it done. For me, though, it wasn't only the clean clothes. And not only can you meet your future significant other in the Meyerhoff building, like Ira, but mine was in the laundry room of the dorms. But I won't get into that whole story. So you never know who you'll run into that'll have a major impact on your life. Like when I enrolled into American Studies 200. My freshman year was also the first time that I was searching for classes on my own. And let me tell you, that was not a quick search. For the first time, I felt in total control of my academic journey. With so many options, I remember thinking about all the littlest things that could impact my decision. And eventually, I got to the point where I was just trying to find a class that fit my schedule. This class turned out to be the class with my favorite professor, Dr. Fouts. Dr. Fouts helped me get through my inexperience in managing a college workload, especially through the challenging times that COVID brought us. School was never really something that I was all for. I knew it was important, but in the back of my mind, I really did not want to go. I was always complaining about it. And what Dr. Fouts had encouraged me to do was challenge myself, be more active in discussions in the classroom, and from then on, I've become more eager to share my opinions and even ask questions. What this has done is give my performance in the class a real boost. And by taking that class, just as Ira unexpectedly pursued a major in Arabic, I pursued a minor in American Studies, thanks to the impact that Dr. Fouts had on me. So what I've learned here is that there are always people that are out there willing to help you. All you need to do is ask. Being a new college student is exciting. There are a lot of new things happening. You get to meet new people and hopefully try new things. I remember being really excited to start my own life, to get out of the house and away from my family. But what I found out was being further apart from my family has actually brought us much closer together. And it really shows that valuable time with your loved ones is. Now I want to share a story about soccer that hopefully you all can relate to in some way. It was the 4th game of my first season. I remember walking up to the field with my jersey and cleats in my hands. I remember turning to my teammate and telling him I was going to score. I could hear the music from the speakers and feel the excitement in the air from the energy of the fans. I always tell myself before games that I'm going to score when I'm preparing for them, but this time I just knew. I was focused. And next thing you know, we're defending a corner kick. The ball comes off my head and goes into our own net. You can imagine, now I know I need to score now. It's late in the second half, and the lights are shining bright on a dark September night in Baltimore. Minutes ago, we scored the game-tying goal at 1. Next thing you know, I find myself in the box, the ball at my foot, and I put away the game-winning goal. The crowd went wild as I was doing a silly dance in the corner. That goal made me realize how important it is to visualize yourself reaching your goals, not only on the field, but everywhere. Our lives as students can become so hectic, we often lose focus of our goals. The ability to relax, train your mind to visualize yourself in a positive way is essential for success. And now, as I stand up here in front of you all, reflect on my time as a retriever, I look at the way that I've grown, not only as a student, but as a person as well. If you told me when I was in Convocation as a new student 3 years ago that I'd be up on this stage, I would have said, sorry, you've got the wrong guy. So don't be afraid. Go outside your comfort zone and try new things. And always, and I mean always, be yourself. Finally, if there's one thing that you can take away from what I've said today, it would be this, and listen closely. The UMBC men's soccer team plays again this Friday at home, and the women's team plays on Thursday. So come out, bring the soccer scarves you got, enjoy some soccer, and cheer us on. Who knows? You might just meet someone there that'll become part of your life forever. Thank you. I'm so honored to introduce the president of UMBC, Dr. Valerie Shears-Ashby. Dr. Shears-Ashby was appointed to the presidency of UMBC on August 1st, 2022. She is UMBC's 6th leader and is the first woman to serve into this role. Previously, Dr. Shears-Ashby served as Dean of Duke University's Trinity College of Arts and Sciences, where she was known for her support for and relationships with her students, as well as her commitment to inclusion and access. She is also a chemist whose research has focused on synthetic polymer chemistry and designing materials for biomedical applications. On behalf of the student body, I am delighted to welcome her to our UMBC community. Please join me in welcoming our president, Dr. Valerie Shears-Ashby.
Ryan, thank you so much for that introduction. As I look out at all of you, I take great pleasure in the fact that we are beginning our UMBC journeys together. And what a moment Convocation is. Our university community gathers to celebrate and welcome you to the start of this educational experience that will not only guide and change the rest of your lives, but it is powerful enough to change the lives of your families, present and future, and your present and future communities. This is true whether you are an undergraduate or a graduate student, whether you are in the first in your family to go to college or you are a third-generation college student, whether you traveled here for 8 miles or for 8,000 miles, this is a time when you begin to define what you love, just what you just heard, what really matters to you, who you want to be in this world, and what difference you want to make in the lives of others. This is indeed a very, very special day. Thank you all who spoke before me. I so appreciate the wisdom and that they generously shared with you from their own experiences. So I'm going to start today by telling you a story. I've heard several stories today. I'll tell you a little bit of my own story. Somewhere along my journey from kindergarten, I know you think that that was in 1925, but it wasn't, to primary school, to junior high school, that's what we called it back in the old days, middle school for some of you, to high school, something happened in my brain. I made up a rule. And I don't know if any of you have ever made up a rule, but I made up a rule. And I didn't realize I carried that rule until I entered college, right where you are sitting today. Here is the rule. I was supposed to know. It's just that simple. I was supposed to know. You might ask me, know what? The right answers, how to navigate college, the courses to take, the clubs I wanted to join, who would become my lifelong friends, who would be my significant other, all of the answers on every test, my major, where I wanted to work, where I wanted to live, and the list goes on and on. I walked into the university and thought, I am supposed to already know. And to take that rule further, I looked around at my classmates and I decided that everybody else already knew pretty much everything. Now, of course, they did not, but in my mind, they did. So I heard this advice, and I'll give it to you again. Here's some advice. Meet a professor. It's a wonderful thing. When I took that advice, I met a person, his name was Professor Henry Frierson, and it changed my life. He would become my very first mentor and remains a mentor for me today. He said something that is so simple and yet so profound. This is what he said. Why would you know how to do something that you have never done before? The entire purpose, he would go on to say, of being at the university is to ask, it's to question, it's to wonder, it's to be curious, it's to seek. Of course you have questions, he said. Of course you are confused. Of course the course is challenging. Of course you feel nervous. He taught me, though, that the smartest people ask for help early and often, attend office hours, you've heard that piece of advice, and create a team, a set of go-to people who will be there for you for mentoring, encouragement, and advice. And with those words, he did something beautiful for me. He did not just make asking and reaching out for help normal, he elevated it to a character asset and to an intellectual goal. I would learn from him and others at the university that great writing and creative arts and new understanding of the human experience, our history and the scientific discoveries are all built on this premise of asking. Okay, so now I have to let you in on a little secret. Before I could fully embrace questioning, I had to let go of the idea of always being the knower. So I invite you to try a simple statement that will take practice, perhaps for some of you, courage for others, and humility for others. Here's the simple statement: I don't know. Let me be clear here that this statement is one that may take that practice. It's not easy. So what I tell you, though, is if you were able to practice that statement, there are gifts that will unfold. Let me give you the first gift. You've heard it talked about already this afternoon. You will discover possibilities for your lives that transcend your own imagination. There are faculty and staff sitting here who know exactly what I'm talking about, and you've heard it talked about already here. Here's my version. I took one chemistry lab, and I decided that day I was never going to be a chemist. Ever. As a matter of fact, I said to my college best friend, if you ever see me heading towards research, please stop me. I was in that lab for 4 hours. My experiments seemed to never quite work, and I thought, who does this for a living? I assumed that my limited singular experience was all of the information that there was. But things changed when I reached out to a faculty member in chemistry who was a mentor and said to him, I love chemistry class, but I don't love the lab, so now what do I do? I don't know what I want to do for my career. I don't know. He recommended a summer internship in industry, and I will tell you that I went to that job and into that lab, and for the first time I made a compound with my own hands that had never been made before, and it was breathtaking. And that very moment, everything changed. I could not have imagined how much I would love research, that same thing that I declared that I would never do, and the life that it would give me. And so the first lesson is, when you say, I don't know, and reach out for help, you will discover possibilities for your lives that transcend your own imagination. Here's the second gift. I don't know will change how you encounter difference. You've heard it discussed today. I hope that one of the reasons that you chose UMBC is because we value difference and we believe in inclusive excellence through diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Imagine that when we encounter different people from different backgrounds, with different perspectives, with different interests, with different beliefs, that in those moments that could be uncomfortable and anxious, we simply say, I don't know. I don't know anything about you. How could I? I just met you. And I would like to learn more. This sentiment is expressed in Martha Nussbaum's book, Not for Profit: Why Democracy Needs the Humanities. She writes, the goal for students is to connect experiences of vulnerability and surprise to curiosity and wonder rather than to anxiety. I'll say it again. Imagine connecting experiences where you feel vulnerable and surprised to curiosity and wonder rather than to anxiety. When you practice turning to curiosity and wonder in the face of difference, instead of to anxiety, it will be a gift to you for the rest of your lives, wherever you work, wherever you lead, wherever you live. And finally, here's a third gift. Practicing I don't know produces intellectual humility. It is a humility that says, think for yourselves, but it recognizes the value of not thinking by yourselves. It leaves open the possibility that even with the vast knowledge that you may have on a subject, that we do not have all knowledge, and because we do not have all knowledge, learning requires this wonderful, diverse community. So when I see you sitting here before me and around me as new members of this UMBC community of learners, I am inspired by a series of questions. The first one is, how is this experience going to change your lives in ways that transcend your own imaginations? The second is, what will we learn from each other because of our differences? And the third is, what will we question together to improve this community and this campus? And then I ask a final question. To what do we, the staff and the faculty seated here before me, owe the pleasure and the privilege of having jobs and careers that place us in community with each one of you, where lifelong learning is not just normal, but it is a character asset and an intellectual goal. On behalf of this wonderful community of inquisitive minds, we are honored that you chose UMBC, and we welcome you. Welcome to all of our new retrievers. Thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Nancy Young, Vice President of Student Affairs. Dr. Young has served in that role since July of 2007. She shares responsibility with campus partners for the learning, success, and well-being of UMBC's nearly 15,000 students. Dr. Young is known for her creative strategic partnerships across the university and beyond, and is passionate about fostering a campus community in which all students are valued, engaged, and safe. Most recently, she advocated for and opened UMBC's Center for Wellbeing and played a critical role in bringing the American Council on Education's Internationalization Lab to UMBC. Dr. Young, along with the Student Affairs staff and other offices on campus, are all working very hard to support you and all of our students. Before Dr. Young, I'm going to take a moment of privilege here for Dr. Young. Before Dr. Young leads us in the ceremony to formally make you a part of the UMBC community, I want to share some very important information about our expectations for you as a member of this new community. We are all here to support you, and we expect that you will do your very best to protect the health and well-being of our other community members. This includes your relationships and interactions with one another. Over the past few years, we have come to understand that we live in a culture where sexual violence and sexual harassment have been normalized. Statistics show that 25% of women, 21% of transgender, non-binary, and gender-conforming people, and 15% of men will experience some form of sexual violence during their time in college, and the risk is greatest in the student's first semester. So let me be clear, sexual violence and misconduct are absolutely not tolerated on this campus. We investigate every report of sexual violence, domestic violence, and stalking. Because it is so important to our campus culture, we also require all incoming students to participate in mandatory training about sexual violence prevention. This includes a strong understanding of consent. Consent is the knowing, voluntary, and affirmative agreement between parties to participate in a given sexual behavior. Consent is not silence. It is not I don't know, or maybe, or a shrug. Consent may be withdrawn at any time, and consent to engage in one kind of activity is not consent to do something else. If you're ever in doubt, stop and ask. Thank you for listening and for doing your part to create a safe community for all. Thank you for listening. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Nancy Young.
Thank you, Dr. Shears-Ashby. As she said, I'm Dr. Nancy Young, and I'm the Vice President of Student Affairs, and I use she, her pronouns. And I'm excited to add my welcome to the many you've already received. But before we continue, take a deep breath. I have no more advice. We've reached the final and perhaps most important part of our ceremony today, when we pin you as a member of our community. This marks a special time in your academic career, the moment where we formally welcome you to UMBC's community of inquiring minds. In order to be admitted to UMBC, each of you presented the necessary qualifications and demonstrated the academic preparation we know is necessary to succeed here. You are ready. Since accepting your offer of admission, you have attended orientation and participated in Welcome Week activities. Together, these programs were designed not only to support your transition, but to commit and to represent our highest traditions and ideals. Through participation in these events, you've learned at UMBC, we work hard to support each other in reaching both our personal and academic goals. You learned that we take action to improve the community we now share, that we treat everyone with respect, and that we always conduct ourselves with integrity. We strive for excellence, but recognize that mistakes are a necessary part of growth. Remember that bleached hair? We are successful through active involvement in learning both in and outside of the classroom, and when we're struggling, as we all do from time to time, we ask for help and keep asking until we're back on track and once again feeling certain. The words shared by our convocation speakers today have all in some way reinforced these ideas, as well as our high hopes for your future. As you entered the arena today, you should have received a pin. The pin you received as you entered the event center is a symbol of our commitment to support you. If you don't already have it out and in your hand, please take it out now. We're gonna have a lot of crinkly noise for just a moment, but I literally mean take it out, take it off of this paper, and have the pin in your hand. If you did not receive that pin as you entered the event center today, please raise your hand high now. This is your first opportunity to ask for help. So if you did not get one, I see a few hands. The staff will be around back over in that corner, because it's really important to us that you have this pin. As they come around, for those of you that have it out, you'll notice that the pin is shaped like the paw of True Grit, our Chesapeake Bay Retriever mascot. It is also a sign of your commitment to the responsibilities you accept as you enter UMBC. Does everyone have their pins now? Okay. This pin will serve always as a reminder of our values, traditions, and expectations. New retrievers, I ask you to please stand now while holding your pin in your hand. Dr. Shears-Ashby, Provost Rouse, faculty, staff, upper class students, woolies, and student leaders, I have the honor of presenting the entering class for Fall 2022 and ask all of you to join me in recognizing them as full members of our UMBC community with all of the privileges and responsibilities associated with that membership. New students, by accepting this Retriever pin, you pledge to make the most of your education while striving to uphold UMBC's highest ideals. If you accept this responsibility, please hold that pin up in your hand right now and say, "I will." I now invite you to place that pin somewhere on your clothing as a sign that you are now and forever a part of the UMBC family. On campus, throughout Maryland, and around the world, faculty and staff, please welcome our newest Retriever with a rousing round of applause. Congratulations, new Retrievers. We are just so delighted that you are here, and we couldn't be happier to have you join our community today. Please remain standing while I invite anyone, if you are able to do so, that was still sitting, to rise for the singing of our alma mater. You'll find the words on the back of your program, and out of respect for our university, we ask guests not to leave the arena until the singing of our alma mater has concluded. Welcome home. We invite you, following today's ceremony, to join us for kind of a cookout. I say kind of because the weather is threatening storms and sounds like it may have already begun. And so we are moving that event inside True Grits. But please join us. The barbecue is waiting, and we can't wait to enjoy dinner with you. Dr. McDonough will now close our summary. Please stay in the arena until the procession has left. So if we could ask you for your patience, we've been so great together for just a few more moments. Dr. McDonough.
This concludes the 2022 Convocation ceremony. Now that we ask that everyone remain in place until the platform party and the faculty and staff have recessed.